band playing here too. And how many of you went across the street to see the Korean War Memorial? Aren't there statues in Erie? About 10 years ago, I walked through there in the winter. There's an inch of snow on those statues, just mind-blowing. Okay, folks, we're going to head across the river to Virginia. Now, I think we have everybody back. Well, if we don't, you'll see somebody running behind us screaming and cursing, and just enjoy it. Try to get your fun where you can. Notice the taxi cab right ahead of us, folks? Notice all the taxi cabs in DC are red. About 10 years ago, the City Council, in its infinite wisdom, decreed that all taxi cabs in DC would have to be red. They weren't worried about the crime rate or the bad schools. They decreed the taxi cabs were all red. Now, there is still a yellow cab company here. But I can tell you, you call for yellow cab and it shows up red. It's very disconcerting.
Maybe they're colorblind.
Maybe they're just stupid corrupt, but we won't get into that right now. Now, they rank the 50 states in DC. DC is usually, in terms of schools, DC is like 49th, 50th, or 51st for the school district. Way at the bottom, which is a shame. Now look to your right, folks. Beautiful view of the Lincoln Memorial, isn't it? We'll get some more great views of Lincoln Memorial when we come back across the river. Right now, we're going to head across the Potomac River. And we'll see all kinds of interesting stuff over the next few minutes. Directly ahead of us is the Arlington Memorial Bridge, and we will not be going over that bridge. We'll go under it in just a minute. Look off to your left. Then you'll see a mansion on the bluff over here, just under the red light. That's the Custis Lee Mansion. It sits at Arlington National Cemetery. That was the home of Robert E. Lee for about 30 years before the Civil War broke out. Now, as you come out over the bridge, look to your left there, you'll see many taller buildings. That's Roslyn, Virginia, it's a suburb of Boston, D.C. Many taller buildings built over there because they're not allowed here in D.C. Local ordinances limit the heights of buildings. The idea is only really tall buildings overshadow the taller buildings and the monuments here in downtown D.C. So as a result, the buildings are just across the river. Ahead of us, John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for Performing Arts. Kennedy was a patron of the arts when he was president. There's several different theaters inside there, places to see a show or hear music. In fact, Lamb Stage has a free concert this time every night. Just go in there and hear free music without having to pay for your tickets. Once the building itself is over, we'll walk around. Great bust of John F. Kennedy in the rear lobby, and go up on the roof there, walk around. It's a beautiful view of Virginia coast. As we drive around, folks, please don't hang your arms out the windows. You're taken off by passing bus tonight after running through the park for 3 or 15 minutes. Now, as we go across the river, off to your right, you'll see Georgetown, the oldest settled community in Washington, D.C., named for King George II of England. The King of England in 1751. Georgetown was founded. Georgetown is also where the movie The Exorcist was made, built 50 years ago, at least 50 years ago, 1973. Heading up with Theodore Rose and trees have to run. Yes, and next, as we get over here, folks, off to the right, you'll see another bridge across the road. That's the Key Bridge. And that's named for the Georgetown attorney who wrote our river belongs to Washington. So right about now, we're entering the Commonwealth of Virginia. Look straight ahead there, folks. You can see the Marine Corps War Memorial, popularly known as the Iwo Jima. It shows the moment when 6 U.S. Marines raised the American flag on Mount Suribachi, highest point of the island of Iwo Jima. Tiny island about 600 miles south of Japan. Over the flag, built that disembark on one side and we'll pick you up on the opposite side of the memorial. Now, give me your attention. Is this a gullible audience?
No.
Yes? Okay, good. That's what I want to hear. Look to your right. See those big round balls with the holes in them? That's the National Bowling Ball Memorial. Believe that? Actually, it's a better story than the truth. The truth is that those were done by an artist about the time that Star Wars was popular. And he called those the Death Star. Personally, I prefer the National Bowling Ball Memorial. Look off to your left. Here's the Lincoln Memorial. Get some great views of that when we turn across the Potomac. Now, if you look through your trees to the left, you'll see the Iwo Jima Memorial. This sign memorial is a sign that was based on a famous picture. The other side is basically made up by an artist. Ulysses Weldon. He took great pains to write this again, where models dressed up in before you. Still, the side facing Washington is all created by the artist's imagination. Now, before we arrive at the Iwo Jima Memorial, coming up on your right, you'll see the entrance to Fort Myer. Fort Myer is the home of the Old Guard, the 3rd Infantry. They're the soldiers who by the Honor Guard at Arlington National Cemetery. Over the years, many famous American soldiers have been stationed here. Back in 1940, before the U.S. entered World War II, Colonel George Patton was stationed here in command of the 3rd U.S. Cavalry. He later on to command the 3rd Army, Northwest Europe, 1944, 1945. Off to your right, look at all the headstones here, folks. See that? This is Arlington National Cemetery, the most famous of America's national cemeteries. Veterans of every American war are buried here. Civil War General Phil Sheridan rests here. World War I Lieutenant General Blackjack Hershey is buried here. The most decorated GI of World War II, Audie Murphy rests here. So does the famous boxer and veteran Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. Admiral Halsey of World War II rests here, and so does Claire Chennault, the famous Flying Tigers. Anybody out there remember the famous actor Lee Marvin? Dirty Dozen, other ones? He served the Marine Corps World War II. Later, well, he was wounded on the outside Saipan. Towards the end of his life, he wrote a long letter to Arlington. He requested to be buried here in Arlington, but not just anywhere. He said no one would bother to visit the grave of a washed-up Hollywood actor. However, you might go to visit the grave of the heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Louis. And if I'm buried next to him, they'll say hello to me if they have a little extra time. So that was Grant. He's buried right next to Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. Ahead of us, beautiful view of the National Mall, Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the U.S. Capitol in the distance. Now look straight ahead. Here you can see the memorial, folks, the Iwo Jima Memorial. Around the black marble base, engraved in gold, our campaign's rings and fought since their founding in 1775. Sometimes during the week, you'll come here and you'll see a detail of two Marines in dress blues with a box of American flags. So take a flag out, shake it out, raise it, let it fly from within. They'll lower it, fold it up, put it back in the box. Use as gifts to Marines who retire after many long years of service. Now, lend me your ears for a moment, folks. We're going to disembark on this side. We're going to re-embark on the opposite side. Now, there's two things I want you to remember. First of all, we have traffic coming by our right, so don't wander out Middle Street. Just stay close to traffic right beside you. Secondly, look directly to your left. You'll see there's some stairs there that are not lit at all. See them right there? And there's a matching bunch of stairs on the other side, which are also not lit. So be careful going down on the other side. Don't take a trophy and break your face like you're taken to the emergency room. Very careful walking up and down those stairs. We'll see you on the other side there in about 10 minutes or so.